in South Africa, where also these examples were given. And that's why I said that we have the good, we have the not too good, and we have the worst. It is our responsibility to try and turn the West, like Somaliland, and if I may say, Sudan, into the not good, and then the not good one into good. You know, in Senegal, the current president, he was imprisoned. But the voice of the people, when they were given opportunity to vote, to cast their ballot, they voted for him. They voted for him. He was in prison. And the current prime minister of Senegal, he was also in prison. So people are suffering by being imprisoned without trial or adequate trial. But don't take the voters for granted. The voters continue to observe what is going on in the country, and when they are given their ballot paper in a secret ballot, they will show you that the power belongs to them. And that's exactly what happened in Senegal. Liberia, we were coming from, the Unity Party was in opposition, and where was the president, but the people needed a change, and they came from opposition to win power. We came from opposition in Ghana to win power in 2000, in the year 2000. So don't take the voters, in all these things we are talking, don't take the voters for granted. And those who think that they have the power in their hands now, so they will continue to suppress civilians, their time will come. Their time will come. It's a question of time, because the voters are watching. So let us not get tired. We must continue to work hard, diligently, and be disciplined. And that is my word for Waidua. Continue to be disciplined and work hard to achieve the values and philosophy of center-right parties, and Africa will move forward. Thank you.
Awesome. For that awesome presentation this morning. You know, I think in his final closing remarks and his response to Moises, it reminds me that, you know, politics is not just being on the ground, mobilizing people, you know, speaking to the youth, asking them to vote. It's also about you as a leader investing in knowledge. You need to know what is happening in other countries. So that means doing research, that means reading the news, that means spending time also reading and learning what others are doing, especially to learn from those that it has worked and those that where it's not working. But for us to do that, it's one, coming to such platforms and listening to such great presentations, but also going home and doing further investigations for yourself so that we continuously learn and implement. And also, it's a game of waiting as well. You know, we must hunt like a lion. You know, a lion lies down and waits for a very long time. So let's not give up. Thank you so much, Mr. McMahon. I'm always so excited to hear these presentations. We learn so much from them. Colleagues, it's now almost 11 o'clock. We are going to take a break for tea. Tea is ready outside. However, before we go for tea, please let's note that we need to be back here by 11:15. It's going to be a 15-minute break. Please, let's be accountable to ourselves, accountable to one another. In order for us to finish early today, we need to return early and get to the other items on the program. When we come back from the break, we will move on to the next session, which is going to be looking at our internal politics, the Waidua running, the reports from different political parties. Some of them, at least, I believe those who will be sharing with us have been notified, so please be back on time. The MC for the next session is Mbugi.
Youth RIG reports, strategic plan, allocation of members to different committees, election of Young Dua, and the issue of constitution of Young Dua. So now allow me to welcome Beatrice from DP Kenya so that she can lead the session of receiving youth rig reports from different political party across Africa. So Beatrice from Kenya, please take a floor so that you can lead us on receiving these reports.
And I'm also the current chair of international relationship in the Waidua League. So today we want to have several youth league reports. So we have chosen the parties who have participated in election in the past few years. So we will start with KANU. We have Mr. Teddy from Kenya.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay. My name is Jefferson Teddy. I'm from KANU. I'm the National KANU Youth Chairman. This is the Party of Independence. I've been ambushed by the Secretariat to give a report, but I believe as a politician you're always ready for anything. So I just give a presentation about KANU, how we have performed in elections. And as I always say, I normally like giving a brief from where we've come from to where we are headed. So the first question, the first thing I'll tackle is experiences of the last elections and the lesson learned. Just to give a brief history of my political party, KANU is the Party of Independence. As a country, we gained independence in 1963. So this is the party which fought the colonialists. We have been in we had been powerful like 35 years, 1963 to 2002. We had our first president, who was Kenyatta, who ruled from 1963 to 1978 till his demise, and then from there on our second president, Daniel Moi, took the reins of power in 1978 to 2002. And the beauty about my political party is everyone who has been president in our country has served as a KANU member. In 2002, when Kibaki took power, he was a KANU vice chairman and also a vice president to our second president. 2010, we had Uhuru Kenyatta, who was at some point a KANU chairman. Our current president, William Ruto, was also a secretary general. So our politics largely has actually revolved around KANU, So what are the experiences of the last election and what we learned? We have had very hard times as a party because even when we were in power, there are some things which happen, and it's more like a baggage. If you guys have read about the history of our country, we had dark times during our reign in power. So that baggage still haunts out till to date. And what we learned from the previous election and actually the elections before is, as a party, we need serious branding, and we have embarked in that. We have had young people joining the party. We have incorporated youth-related activities in the party. Our secretariat currently has young people. So from 2002, when we lost power, 2007 elections, we supported Kibaki, who was the president at that time. So we did not perform quite well. In 2013, we supported Mudavadi. It was a deal so that we ensure our chairman then, Uhuru Kenyatta, because Uhuru Kenyatta left KANU few months to the election. It to vie for presidency. So we supported Mudavadi so that so that our former chairman would win election. In 2017, we did the same. We supported Uhuru in the election, and in 2022, we supported Raila Odinga, but we never Ruto beat us to that. So there are a lot of things we learned in the previous elections. First of all, is we need to leverage our party so that a lot of young people can relate to our party, something which we have not managed to do because, as I said, we have a lot of baggage as a party, but we believe with serious branding, with serious marketing, we'll be able to get through this hurdle which we have been facing as a party. The role of young people in the election. Our party since 2013, when I joined KANU was in 2015. We had a mission, and the mission was to make the party youth friendly. And over time, through the years, we have managed to do that. If you come to our party, you find from the secretariat to the leadership of the party is young people. We have not, of course, achieved what we want, but it's work in progress. So young people are really involved in the elections. In the previous election, where there are young people controlling the election board, the election secretariat, and even on the party list nomination, we pride ourselves to have. It's the party in the country which had a lot of nominated members who are young people in the country. So we made sure, especially some of us who are in roles of leadership, we made sure as a party, and we made sure the senior party officials have incorporated the young people in these nominative processes. So I would say young people are fully involved from the start till the end. So even our primaries were basically conducted by young people. We would send young people to different regions to go do the primaries. So basically, the last election, especially in our party, was 80% was run by young people. On the use of digital platform to impact election success in our party, we, as a party, we were the first party in the country to introduce online registration, and over time we have seen other parties adopt such methods. It has worked for us, and especially with the bulging young population in our country, we have found ourselves actually getting more young people to register in our party. Of course, it's a bit hard with the older generation, but what we have done is we have had recruitment drives in different regions of the country where we are sensitizing about our online platform, and it's been our success for us as a party. And I'm sure, of course, with the new technological era, it's going to even bulge more and yield more success for us as a party. What worked and what didn't work in the country and in the party. So we had a very interesting election in 2022. We had a candidate by the name William Ruto, who is currently the president. He actually solely leveraged on social media. He literally ran his campaign, of course, with the hustler narrative, which resonated well with the young people and especially majority of the poor masses in the country. So basically, how he beat us into the election is because he leveraged on social media. He had so many young people supporting his cause. Of course, of course, as these young people, of course, who ended up supporting him are the ones who are chanting William Ruto must go, because of course of the promises he promised and he hasn't fulfilled. But basically, one of the key things which he beat us in the election is because he really maximized the use of social media and young people in his campaign. On our side, as KANU, we are supporting, of course, Raila Odinga, who was running under the Azimio flag. Of course, we had young people, of course, in that team, but our policies did not resonate super well with the young people. That's why our coalition did not attract so much attention with the young people. On the as a youth in our country, do you feel hard in your political parties? I normally say, for you to be on the table, you must fight your way there. And there's this notion with young people who say we must be included, but this is a fight. This is always a fight. You can't be included if you don't have something substantial to offer into the table. So as I said, when I joined this political, it was solely all people, but through the times we have fought our way to the table. Even right now, to an extent, like we are controlling 60% of the party, especially my party. There's no decision which will be ever made in our party without the involvement of young people. And you can only achieve this if you are bringing something to the table. In Swahili tunasema kujituma bugi, si ndio? You must strive to be on that table, because you are fighting, there are two wars you are fighting here, your fellow young people and the older generation. So for you to stand out, you must bring something substantial to the table. And that's what we have managed to do in our party. And it's been a success, because even when you visit our party headquarters, just even from the desk there, it's young people, you go to the offices here. So we have managed to do this. And for us, it's basically a long-term plan. We have been in power since 2002, but when I joined, I say it's a long-term plan. Maybe at that time I'll be the presidential candidate for the party. But for now, it's a plan. We must bring young people to the party. We must incorporate as much as policies to the party which are reflective to the young thinking and the young generation. So for now, definitely we are, I will not say we are in the trenches, of course, because also coalitions have really, been a disadvantage to us, but it's a process, And if you look at the history of KANU, the young people who were fighting for independence in our country in 1963 were young people. When Moi was leaving power, when he was supporting Uhuru Kenyatta in 2002, that team was basically young people. So we have been a party of leveraging young people in the country. So this is the same modus operandi we are taking, and that's what we are doing. And one of the things when I took the chairmanship of the Youth League, one of the things I did was to incorporate something called KANU Campus League. I incorporated students, leaders and students from different campuses to the party, and it's been a success. I've seen other political parties have started copying. I don't know if my friends from DP have started it, but it's something which, even before this war of Gen Zs and Millennial came, we already seen that problem coming ahead, because these are young people. They are seeing things are not going on well in the country. So how do you manage to bring them in a system whereby they can be able to discuss the issues? Because if you don't do that, and we have seen the results, if we don't do that as a country, this is what has been happening. So these young people are bringing new ideas, and actually they are bringing, it's a systematic change. It's a systematic. They don't like the traditional ways of doing things, because the traditional way of doing things has always been pro-status quo. So these young people are telling us, no status quo, we have to do things in the right way. This is what, if you are tackling corruption, you have to take corruption head on. Not coming up with different institutional dialogues which, people meet up, take a cup of coffee, and then they leave. The reports are tabled in the table, and there is no substantial, movement going forward. So with that, that I just like to say, as a party, we have had our own issues, we have had our own problems, but with time, all this, we are trying to, mend the fences, of course, with the baggage which has been in our party. And I believe in your respective parties, if maybe you introduce some of the things I've mentioned, it might work out for you. You can pick what's good for you and what's not good for you. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, colleague. My name is Augusta. I'm going to try as much as possible to speak as slow as possible so that my colleagues can be able to understand me today. So I come from Liberia, from the Unity Party. So I've been asked to provide my experience on the past elections and the different lessons learned. So the first thing that I will want to say here to us today is that United, internal United, and this is something that actually worked for us. So from our experience during the 2017 election, the Unity Party was into power for 12 years. From 25, we won the 25 elections. We won the 2011 election, and then we were defeated by George Weah in 2017. And I think one major problem that led to our defeat was that we had internal conflict. And then along the way of that internal conflict, we had major problems, including the suspension or the expulsion of the former president Dent from the party, former standard bearer of the party, Madam Selit, which actually affected our party. So moving forward to the recent elections, we were able to have different conversations, different meetings, different events, different dialogues along the way, where we were able to bring most of those who were suspended or most of those who left the party together to be able to work together as a team to support, to defeat our opponent. And I can tell you it actually worked for us, because where we had the former president, the former minister of finance, the former minister of public works, those are big people in my country, and we had all of them coming together. And today we can safely say that united and being able to solve our internal conflict actually helped us to win these recent elections. Continue working together as a group. We were able to form a collaboration with different political parties who have the same ideology like us. So we have 5 or 6 political parties who pledged their support to the Unity Party during the elections, and we were able to work together as collaboration. And I can safely say that it actually achieved for us today, actually contributed more to our victory today. So do not overlook the issue of forming a collaboration or coalition. If you cannot form a coalition for different reasons, always think about the issue of forming a collaboration, which actually worked out for us. Never underestimate the power of the ordinary people. During our recent election, Unity Party had a lot of different problems. We didn't have money. Finance was our major challenge. But what actually worked for us was that the ordinary people mind was already made up. So it's actually not good to overlook the ordinary people during electoral processes. So during the recent election, what we did was, after we got defeated from the 2017 election, we didn't stop working. We were always having different events, different programs, and that actually worked out for us. We maintained our base and was always going back to our different areas of political offices to be able to talk to them more. That was how we were able to win election. So the role of young people during the recent election, the young people, of course, serve as ambassador of peace. As you may be aware, Liberia had a problem. Liberia had a history of 15 years of civil war, and it's something that most of the political parties preached about, that we didn't want another conflict. We wanted peace. And so we were to do everything as different political parties from around the country to be able to maintain our peace. And then we, as young people of the Unity Party, decided to serve as peace ambassadors. And I can tell you for sure, our opponent, how can I say, they were always a group of people who was interested in protest during our days of opposition. They were always interested in protest. So for us young people of the Unity Party, instead of not doing as they seen as they did, we decided to serve as peace ambassadors. All of our issues and disagreements were channeled either through press conferences or civil engagement, and not protest as our opponent did, and that actually worked for us. So the people of Liberia saw the Unity Party as people who have come to maintain their peace. and that actually worked out for us. So we also established different youth sculptures around the different counties. So our country is divided into 15 counties, and within the 15 counties, we have districts. Within the districts, we have zones, and we were able to establish our different sculptures around all of those different areas, including the universities, the secondary schools. So that actually helped us to win election, because those people serve as lead campaigners for us during these recent elections. As usual, we maintain our base through engagement with our young people, regular trainings, through regular workshops, through regular training. And one thing that I've noticed from our country is that if you are not in power, once you get defeated, most often you don't find people going to that political party's headquarters. And that was something that we always try to maintain, to keep our party headquarters lively, to have different engagement and different activities so that we can keep in connection with our people. Public awareness, of course, we do a lot of different public awareness around the country, ranging from the aids of the government to some of the bad decisions that were taken to affect the young people of the countries. The use of the Decatur platform, yes, one major thing that we did was that we had, because Facebook is widely used in our country as compared to other social media platforms. So we were able to form a propaganda team, a social media propaganda team, and that team was exclusively in charge of social media welfare. And they was able to work for us, even though the ordinary people of the Unity Party was always engaged with social media activities, but that team actually worked out for us. Internal conflict within our party, I've already talked about that. As a youth in your country, do you feel a part or have you been hurt? For this, I would want to say this is Africa, and similar to what my colleague Teddy said, sometimes it's challenging to get the young people heard. And this is normally done through fighting your way through. So, in being honest, the Unity Party is one party that don't take the youth into consideration. But it's something that we have been working on. We have fought our way through, and we are still fighting. We are not going to give up till we make sure we get the young people in all aspects and in all areas of the party. On another good note, after our contribution during our victory, the president saw the need of getting more young people involved, and I can say to you proudly that most of our young people from different counties around the countries and different positions within the party got appointed by the president. As the president has said, he wants to use the young people to achieve their arrest agenda. The arrest agenda is the agenda of our government. And so the president has appointed a lot of young people into government, and I'm proud to say I'm here as one of those who the president appointed into government, including our youth chair, including our former youth chair, and different couple youth from around our political party, and as well from around the country. So thank you, Fancy Betty coming. Thank you very much, colleague. This is our experience from our election. Thank you.
And greeting to all colleagues from the entire Africa. Yeah, I'm Lelete Kumete from the IFP and a member of the IFP Youth Brigade NEC. So I'm here to present what are we doing in the IFP. In the IFP, I hope everyone remember that the IFP was led by Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi from its inception in 1976 until 2019, where our new president was elected, President V.F. Thabisa. And the last election were the first election that we have without the prince, because the prince passed away last year. So they were, the media were saying the IFP will die after the princess died. So luckily enough, it was not as what they said, because after the princess died, the IFP has grown. Okay. In the IFP, we have NEC, the main structure of the NEC of the main structure, which is also our chairperson and our secretary sits on that NEC. So all decision of the main structure, the IFP brigade is being presented on that structure. So it's been a long journey since before the election until where we are today in the government of the national unit. I think colleagues will remember that when we go to elections, we were not in power in any provinces and also in the country. So our target is that IFP, we knew that it was possible that we win KZN. It was not possible that we win the country. But our target was that we push the ANC below 50% and we win KZN. I think the IFP managed to achieve those two targets, because in KZN, the IFP is leading. However, the MK got many votes than the IFP, but the IFP was the number second. And because of the GNU, we collaborated with DA and the ANC and the National Freedom Party. And now we are rolling the KZN through that coalition unit. So in the past election, I think what we did as the party, firstly, important that you have all structures in place before you go to elections. In the IFP, we have branches across South Africa. So that is the first thing that you need to have in South Africa when you're going to elections, so that you win elections. In our party, to inaugurate the branch, you need to have 150 members. So let's say you have 1,000 branches inaugurated. That is telling you that you already have at least 10,000 people that will vote for you. So you must have your structures in place so that you win election in South Africa. So in those structures, IFP is being represented, because in our policy, it says in all structures, 40% must be the youth. So in us, it's easy to influence any decision of the party, because there is a policy in place. So the policy must be enforced so that youth will be represented. When we come to digital platform, I think IFP did very well, because we are all in digital platform, your X, TikTok, Instagram, and in the last election, we also launched the IFP TV channel, where all activities of the party are being posted in the channel, so everyone can able to access that. I think that has also worked for us as the IFP. And people who are leading that is also the IFP brigade. So in the social media, in the IFP, there is Honorable Lizelle van der Merwe, who is the director of the communication in the party, and also working together with our spokesperson, Comrade Mkhuleko Dlengwa. So I think the IFP is doing well when it comes to digital platform, because in all platforms you will get the IFP. And the people, they are engaging through digital platform with IFP. In South Africa, there is a very huge ladies group which is called Ladies House. So every time our president, when it speaks, he acknowledged that group of people, because in Ladies House, I think there are almost 1 million only ladies in that group. So if you talk, you need to acknowledge that. Once you acknowledge them, they went back into their group and discuss with you. So that is how you trigger debates in such platform. So at sometimes they call our president as the bay of the Ladies House. So you see the engagement, they are going up if you acknowledge them. Nationally increasing, only Gauteng where we didn't increase. We also invaded other provinces where we had no numbers, we get 10,000 votes from zero. So I think for the IFP, there is a likely that we can say we didn't achieve. For the fact that we are in the GNU now, it shows that the IFP, I think, it's working to the right direction. So that in future, maybe we'll lead Gauteng and KZN. In the near future, I hope IFP will be the ruling party alone in the country. So I think your party, the youth, is being represented very well. So I will encourage other colleagues that you need to enforce that into policies, because it's very difficult if you have nothing that is talking to the youth in your policies. So if you have something in written, so it's easier to enforce that. Thank you.